Hello all, and welcome to another video in my journey to 1 million Gamerscore. And with the first half of July now done, it's time to bring to you July part 1. Now at the end of June part 2, I did say the 400k was set up to happen, and as you'll see on screen that has happened. I mean, I haven't pushed past it as far enough as I would have liked to have done. In fact, I've only just done it. But at the same time, I picked up just under 6,500 Gamerscore this month already. That's a decent chunk. I'm pleased with that. It's not my best, but at the same time, it's nowhere near my worst. So let's crack on with the games and show you what I got that just under 6,500 in. And if you've seen these videos before, you'll know I like to go through these in chronological order. And we started them up with an Xbox 360 completion, and that was what is abbreviated to WTWTA, which, as you'll see in the thumbnail, stands for Where the Wild Things Are. It's a game based on a kids' TV program and a series of books, so it was always going to suggest that it was easy, and I've done my research and everywhere did suggest that it was indeed easy, with around about a 10 to 12 hour completion time. For me, it took me a little bit longer because this game is absolutely filled with collectibles, and I struggled to find a couple of them within a couple of the levels. You can replay levels, so if you do miss them, you can return to them. That's not an issue. But someone did do a playthrough of the game with all collectibles within the levels, and I was able to nab the ones I was missing by watching the levels that were just missing a couple there. However, I couldn't find a video of the collectibles within the hub, so once I'd because you need to go through the levels to unlock certain things within the hub or make certain areas in the hub available by progressing in the levels and getting some collectibles. Couldn't find a video on that, and eventually when I found the final 3 in there, I unlocked the last achievement. That was a good moment. But it's not a difficult game, even on the hardest difficulty, because there are achievements for 3 different difficulties, but if you play on the hardest, which isn't even that hard to be honest with you, they do stack, so you will unlock them all. So if you compare the collectibles, as I say, it probably took me around about 15 hours because I struggled a little bit with it. Also, when you go for collectibles, are alternate paths, so you do need to revisit some levels as well. But if you can compare the collectibles, a couple of random things that you'll need to do as well regarding the wild things, which is a bit self-explanatory, then it's not a difficult completion. It only cost me £1 from my local CEX store as well, so it's not expensive either. So Where the Wild Things Are was the first completion of the month, and not a difficult one at that, just a little collectible frustrating. Okay, so we decided to clear a couple of FIFAs out of my Xbox 360 back catalogue, which I've picked up recently as well. Just over 800 for both of them. Going to kind of talk about these at the same time because the bulk of these achievements are the same, with the odd exception. Obviously, FIFA 17 on the one has the journey. This is the 360 version. It doesn't. Obviously, the limitations kept that out of there. Now, I strategised here because one of the main things in these games was doing the women's football achievements, winning a tournament, playing a game, scoring 5 goals in a game, scoring a goal with a flare shot. So what I did is I set up a tournament, or played the women's tournament because I needed to win that for an achievement, and I got a lot of the in-game achievements whilst doing that as well. I played it on beginner because I just wanted to get through it and get the achievements done. There are 6 games in the women's tournament, 3 in a group, quarter, semis, So what I did is beginner, and then I adjusted the sliders. I learnt the hard way, so please don't do this. When you adjust the sliders to start with, just make the players really fast and their players really slow. Do not touch any other adjustments until you've got the women's flare shot out of the way. Because after that, what you want to do, or what I did, was adjust the shot power and accuracy up to their max. But if you do that, you then can't do a flare shot because you kick it too hard. Lesson learnt there. But I did that obviously because that made it really easier to score. Obviously getting 5 goals in a women's match, that's an achievement that becomes even easier than just playing on beginner. And also you can then knock out the one for scoring with a defender from 25 yards, because with those sliders in effect, you literally just on beginner, you just have to press shoot and it's gonna go in. So you can get that one out of the way as well. Other related achievements like 10 times in the opponent's third and then score, you can knock that one out of the way as well. Just lots of in-game achievements. If you read up on them, there are literally is a guide for every in-game achievement on YouTube for both of these games. You'll need to hit Ultimate Team 2, do a few random things in there. Both of them have an achievement for scoring 50 goals with 1 player. So if, like me, you've got plenty of money in your EA Sports football catalogue, get the coin booster so that when you play, after you played a couple of games, you've got an extra 1,000 because of the booster, and then you're able to buy a half-decent striker. I mean, I bought Jermaine Defoe. Good finishing, not too slow. So what I did then was, after I got my promotion in seasons, I then played Team of the Week on beginner, the lowest. That's the only time you can really select the difficulty to be the same every game, because obviously the league, each game is a little bit different depending on, even with the difficulty of the leagues being the lowest. So I played Team of the Week on beginner, and then you can smash out 50 goals by literally just giving it to your striker all the time. Sliders aren't in effect in Ultimate Team, but it's on beginner, so I just kept giving it to Jermaine Defoe and shooting with him. And because it was on beginner, it was super easy. I even managed to get 22 goals in one game with him, so I was able to knock it out by playing 2 games against Team of the Week, which is an achievement alone, and then getting that 50 goals with one player achievement. In FIFA 16, that one's well worth going for, because it's worth 105G alone. In 17, though, it's only worth 15. I mean, there are other achievements as well for things in manager mode and stuff like that. Solutions for those could be found on YouTube. It's real easy. FIFA 17 had one to buy a player from a rival team. Obviously, just go for one that you know is a rival, so I just went Spurs Arsenal, picked Spurs, bought Arsenal's 4th choice keeper, who was only valued at just under 400,000, bid 2 mil, doubled his wages, and he came. So I unlocked that achievement real easy. But there's a couple others to do with scouting, which can be a little bit tricky, but if you use a guide, it then becomes quite simple. But as you'll see, just over 800 on both of these games, probably around about the 10-hour mark on each game combined, just because playing games still takes time. And on one of them you have to play 10 games with a new signing in Ultimate Team, just things like that, and get a promotion, so on. Just takes a bit of time, so we'll just put 20 hours over the pair of them, probably. Job done. Okay, above that, ACA Neo Geo King of Fighters 2001 for Windows. Obviously they're a little bit behind the Xbox One, so this one was added just recently. Having done it before, I knew I could do it again, and obviously I have done it again. The tricky one is in caravan mode, because the top bracket on that is 200,000 points, and that's obviously within 5 minutes. That's the deal with caravan mode. It's limited in time, and you then have to win all 3 fights, like 3 on 3, but with your first character, and get the bonus for the clean sweep with one character, which is 50,000, and then obviously that's 150,000 points across 3 fights, and then the rest of your points should be made up through doing moves and time bonus and health bonus and so on. If you can pick up a perfect with it against the first opponent, that's an extra bonus 10,000. I did in the first fight, and that really helped. That just takes a few attempts. High score mode may take a couple of attempts as well, but you've got a little bit more leeway there because you haven't got the time restriction, so you can go on to another fight and still get all your points, but the points are a little bit higher as well. And obviously original mode, knock it down to level 1, then you can just knock it down to level 1, and then the score margins in that are higher again. Just pick a character you're familiar with as well for all these modes, is what I was trying to get out there. I picked Hayden. His flying kick and sweep have an extremely long range, and it's just a case of jump, kick, sweep, kick is very effective in this game. So yes, original mode, crank the level down to 1. That was it. Create interrupt save data was what was floating around my mind there that I didn't say. Create interrupt save data to your advantage, so that if you get 80 something thousand points out the first fight, which is good, and then you get in the second fight and you lose your character before he's beaten all 3 opponents with just himself, you can then bail out and pick up your save again. So the old interrupt save data trick on the Neo Geos make original mode pretty much relatively easy across all games. But I think it took me a couple of hours because of needing retries in caravan mode, so call it 2 to 3 hour bracket this one. Above it is a Ratalaika special. It's not a good game. It's under an hour. You get achievements for killing the 3 different enemy types every time you kill one of those enemy types. Or for the first time you kill one of those enemy types, it's an achievement. If you kill the hostages, which you're not supposed to, which are the grey blocks, that's an achievement. You'll restart it, but you'll need to do that at least once. Dying once is an achievement. And then the level wise, you need to finish 25 in normal. There's about 4 or 5 different ones for that, and the special levels are 3 and 6. They're actually really easy, but once you get used to the frustrating platforming, 3D platforming, it's basic 3D platforming, but it's a little bit frustrating. I found the jump pads very difficult to navigate with the controls, but a little bit tricky. But to be honest with you, when I talk about games being super easy, sometimes people call them super easy and then forget to mention that it's with a guide. This one, no guide needed. It is proper super easy. It's under an hour, as I say. It's about 40 to 45 minutes it took me. It's not a good game, I'm not going to get that time back, but if you want a quick and easy completion, that is a good one for you. And so is the game above, but this is what I'm going to go to when I say with a guide. Yes, it is super easy, but only with a guide. I used Maca 91's guide on this game. It's a very short guide. I think it's only 20 minutes long. If it's more than 20 minutes, it's certainly under half an hour. It's a very short guide, it's a very short completion. He does go rather quick on it, he does say that. I did find that I needed to pause quite a bit, or here and there everywhere, but at the same time it wasn't too difficult to follow along with. It's bang on guide, all the information you need. Again, this one under an hour, around about the 45-minute mark, so I actually knocked these two out in the same night, and it didn't take that long at all. As I say, it took under 2 hours for the pair of them, probably around about an hour and a half combined. Both ratalaika specials, both super easy completions, but Paradox Soul needs a guide. Okay, been playing a bit more 360. I've got a huge backlog to get through. I'm trying to clear some, but I seem to be adding at a rate higher than I'm clearing. So yes, Virtua Tennis 3 we'll be playing next, and I basically went straight into career mode. I created a female character because females games are shorter. Obviously there are set less. I picked up various random achievements within career mode, getting to a certain rank. I think I got to 200 and 100. I beat every female player, which is an achievement. So I then noticed that you need to beat every female player and beat someone, so I backed out, did that in arcade mode. Also did the same thing with the men. In the men I then was every character, playing every character, which you can set up as well. So I got all those achievements done and out the way. So just a few miscellaneous ones for winning in certain ways with shots as well are getting close. I haven't finished with this game yet, but out of that 340, I would say it took me probably it's taken me about 4 hour-ish to get that 340. The only thing I will say is the servers for this game I don't think are down. You just won't find a game. I did try because there's an achievement just for playing an online game. I thought quick 10G there would be nice. Couldn't find a game, but there is an achievement for watching someone's highlights, and there was 2 highlights up for that day. So 2 games happened online. So I got that little achievement. But I like the Virtua Tennis game, so Virtua Tennis 3 is never going to be time wasted for me. Above that, I did pick up Guitar Hero Metallica. I like the Guitar Hero games. I was missing this up, so I quickly got on to playing it, and yes, I enjoyed my time as I always do. I'm only missing 2 of them now for the full Guitar Hero set on the 360, and this one I picked up the complete the career with the guitar, complete the career with the bassist, a few random miscellaneous achievements along the way, making a few custom items. Unfortunately, a lot of the achievements for this game I won't get because they involve being in a 4-player band, and I don't have all the equipment. I've probably got some mates I can muster up, but don't have all the equipment. There are a lot of online achievements as well, and the server for this is definitely down and not working because there was an achievement for downloading a track from GH Tunes. Tried that one and it just wouldn't happen, so the server is definitely down for this one. I think I'm pretty much done achievement wise out of this because of what's available and my skill level. I can probably do the vocalist career. As I say, I do have a microphone, and I can probably get to $15,000. I'm about halfway there, as in a cumulative career total. So I spent about 4 or 5 hours on this game. It was going to take me a further 4 or 5 hours more to get to that $15,000 marker, and I could probably knock out the vocal career one too as well. So I will revisit that at some point soon. Okay, above that, Ridge Racer Unbounded. Been playing a lot of this very recently. Put about 3 or 4 hours worth of gameplay into this. Server for this one is definitely down. There are a lot of online achievements. You want it to connect to the server pretty much straight away when you go into the main career mode. However, there's still a chunk you can get out of this, and as I say, I want to play every 360 game at some point in my life. That's an unusual goal of mine, perhaps, or maybe it isn't if you're watching this. But yes, I'm enjoying my time with this. I haven't finished with it. You'll get a 15G achievement off the bat when you start up your career mode, because racing the first race is apparently completing the tutorial, or it does say a few things, but it pretty much is a full-on race. A couple of those other achievements are a bit miscellaneous. I've got 2 out of the 4 sort of accumulative total ones, 1 for chasing for a certain amount of distance, 1 for being airborne for a certain amount of time and distance, or one or the other, can't remember. But there was a 25G achievement which was quite tricky, which took a few runs at getting, and that was to win a race without basically, you can still take out opponents, but the idea is not to bash any surroundings, not to knock any lampposts and stuff like that. After a few attempts I did do it on that first easy track. I kind of targeted it straight away, but I'm enjoying my time with it. It just doesn't feel like a Ridge Racer game though. It feels more like a Need for Speed game with split second elements to it. So, but it is fun. It's a lot of fun. It's very fast action paced, this one. Very fast racing game. And that brings us up to the last game, which is in the sale very recently, the one that pushed me over the 400k, and that was Altered Beast there. And you'll see I've got the 200 out of 200 out on that. What you'll need to do with this one is take advantage of the fact that you can save at any point at any time, because you'll need to get to a certain point without losing a life. So you basically play a bit, oh I haven't been hit, save, play a bit more, I've been hit, load up that last save, play a bit more, and now I've not been hit, save. Literally just do it often as you can, and then once you get to that achievement point where you need to get to without losing a life, then you can get a little bit more casual. But before you start, you obviously put it on the easiest difficulty, crank your health up to the max amount you can have, crank your lives up to the max amount you can have, as I say, play it on easy, and then you should get to, as long as you use your save data. I mean, if you're doing bad, then you can go back and play a level again or play a boss again. But yeah, just use the save data wisely. There are points for achievements that get into points margins, the top one being 350,000. So you'll get 100,000 if you manage to get to the boss at the first phase. If you get to the second phase, it's only 50,000. But just make sure you hit all those 2-headed white dogs, so that you only get to phase 1 of the stage and not have to do a second bit and get the max bonus. There is an achievement for hitting the first 3 dogs and getting the orbs out of them and not needing a 4th one, basically, to appear to get 3. There's an achievement for getting 1 orb as well. I think that's pretty much a lot of this game covered. The one achievement that held me back was sitting at 190 for a while. I put a few messages out on the message boards here on Xbox Live on achievement hunters and achievement guides, and someone came back to me, and the achievement was to basically just be in an active online game with someone, basically, which was a 10-year achievement, which I've literally just nabbed before recording this video and got the completion. At time of recording, it's in the sale, it's only £1 something. It's technically a 1 to 2 hour completion, as long as you can find an online partner just to help you with that one achievement. As I say, there's great Xbox Live communities. The achievement community is fantastic, so generally as a rule someone a lot of the time pipes up if you put a message out there. Even some people have offered to just download the game to help me, which was great, but I did find someone who needed the achievement as well. So I think that's everything covered from Altered Beast. I think so, yes. Like I said, 1 to 2 hour completion, and it's an absolute classic, isn't it? Altered Beast. People argue that it hasn't aged well, but I love it for what it is, an absolute classic. So ladies and gentlemen, that's what I've done so far in July. What have I got for the second half of July planned? Well, I did do a Twitter poll saying that I would play the Mass Effect trilogy at some point this month, and as you'll see, I haven't started it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the Mass Effect trilogy, and it is going to be a what comes as I play through the story. However, when I finish one part, I might just look at the list and say I can pick that off quickly. Perhaps for all 3 parts I'll do that. When I finish each part, sort of I'll look back and say, can I pick that off? So we've got that. So yeah, we're going to play some more 360, try and get through some of this backlog. Obviously keep an eye on one stuff as it comes out. Ratalaika Games specials will probably crop up as well. And yes, this is basically now the sort of mini journey within a journey to get into 500,000, and hopefully I can do that before the year's out. So ladies and gentlemen, all I ask for you now is, if you have any questions about any game, comment section below. If you just want to say hello, comment section below. Please do it here on YouTube. If I'm on my Xbox, I'm generally busy playing a game, making a video, or watching YouTube while I eat. That's my other thing. But any questions below or any comments below, I will read, I will answer. So please throw them in down there. Please also hit like, hit subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that bell to be notified when these videos go up too. And then ladies and gentlemen, apart from thanking you for watching and thanking you for watching again, it just finally leaves me to say, as always, take care.